All right, everyone, get ready, because we are diving deep today into how AI can actually, well, trick us. And not like in a Terminator kind of way, but in a way that's already happening. We're talking about those large language models, ChatGPT and all the others everyone's going crazy over. And to guide us through this, we're looking at this really interesting article. It's called The Design Illusion of LLMs. It's by Dave Edwards over at Artificiality, and the thing is, he's not just a tech guy, he gets design too, so his perspective is like double important here. He starts off with this analogy. It's almost like a joke, but also kind of unsettling. Imagine a pencil, right? Totally normal, except it's got this message on it, too cool to do drugs. Seems pretty clear, right?
Yeah, totally.
But here's the thing. You start sharpening the pencil, and guess what? The message, it starts to disappear little by little, and you know what you're left with. Just do drugs.
Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah, it's like the pencil is messing with you. And that's exactly what Edwards calls the design illusion. Something that seems so simple, so obvious, but the way it's designed, well,
yeah,
it takes you somewhere totally different.
It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Right. But for technology.
Exactly. And the scary thing is this whole pencil problem, it's not just about pencils.
Oh, definitely not. It's like everywhere. If you start looking.
It is. It's how we experience, well, almost everything.
We like shiny and new. We think that means it works well.
Right. We assume if it looks good, it is good.
But just like that pencil, appearances can be deceiving.
Okay, so how does this whole design illusion thing, how does it play out with AI, with these LLMs that, let's face it, most of us are still trying to figure out?
Okay, so picture this. You walk into, I don't know, some high-tech lab, right? But instead of a bunch of complicated machines, you just see this one sleek box, minimalist, with one single button. That button. That's your LLM. And that's kind of the problem.
So you're saying these LLMs, they're like that button deceptively simple.
Exactly. We're told they're user-friendly. Anyone can use them. But the reality, it's way more complicated.
Like we're expecting a toaster, but we get a spaceship.
Exactly.
Okay, so then what's the big deal with this whole simple versus complex thing? Why should I care if LLMs are more complicated than they seem?
Because that's where the danger is. We're treating them like everyday things when really they're more like, how do I put this?
Like specialized tools.
Yes. Professional tools.
Oh, okay. Consumer products versus professional tools. Break that down for me. What's the difference? And why does it matter so much for AI?
So think about it like this. Something you use every day, an app on your phone that's designed for everyone, right? Simple, easy to use.
Right. You don't need a degree to figure it out.
Exactly. But a professional tool, think of like a surgeon's scalpel. You need training. You need to know what you're doing.
So you're saying treating LLMs like simple apps when they're really more like scalpels? That's asking for trouble. It's like, yeah, someone hands you this incredibly powerful tool, but no instructions, no warnings, just go have fun.
And you just know someone's going to get hurt.
Exactly. And that's what worries me about these LLMs. I mean, we're so drawn to the shiny new thing, we don't stop to think about the risks.
We think, oh, it's AI, must be smart, it'll figure it out.
But that's not how it works, is it?
Nope. And Edwards, he uses this other analogy. I really like it. He says, right now we're treating LLMs like windows, but what we need to be thinking about is rooms.
Okay, I'll bite windows, rooms. What's the difference? And what does this have to do with AI?
So think of a window, right? You look through it, you see a bit of what's on the other side, but you can't really interact with it.
Right, like a snapshot, a glimpse.
Exactly. And that's like our old way of searching for information. You type something in, you get a list of websites.
You're on the outside looking in.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now imagine you can step through that window. You're in the room, right?
Yeah.
You can move around, explore, really experience it.
You're immersed.
That's what LLMs could be, but we're stuck in window mode.
So how do we get into the room? How do we move from passively consuming information to, like you said, really interacting with it, shaping it?
That is the million-dollar question. And Edwards, he points to something really crucial here, and that's memory. Think about it. What makes a room a room? Part of it is it remembers you were there.
What do you mean?
The stuff you leave behind, the way you rearrange things, it reflects you, your presence.
Okay, I'm starting to see where you're going with this. So for an LLM to be like a room, it needs to remember us, right?
Exactly. It needs to remember our past interactions, our preferences, so it can actually learn and adapt.
We've seen hints of this, right? Like with chat history and those memory features.
Right. Those are like baby steps, but we're not quite there yet.
Still figuring out how to walk before we can run.
Exactly. We're bumping into the furniture, still trying to find the light switch. And here's the other thing. The room itself, it keeps changing on us.
What do you mean? How's it changing?
Every time there's a new feature, new update, it's like someone came in and rearranged all the furniture overnight.
So we log in expecting one thing, and it's completely different.
And we're left wondering, okay, how does this thing work now?
It's like they're moving the goalposts every single time we play. No wonder we feel lost. But is this just like part of the process, or are we designing these tools all wrong?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And Edwards, he says, it's all about intent.
Intent.
Yeah, like right now we're stuck in this command and control mode. We click this, we open that, very specific instructions.
But with LLMs,
we're trying to have a conversation. We want the AI to understand what we're trying to DO, not just what we're telling it.
So it's like, instead of saying, turn on the lights, we need to be able to say, I want to read, and the LLM just figures it out.
Exactly. It needs to understand the goal, the desired outcome.
Okay, that makes sense, but that seems really hard to actually build.
It is. We're not there yet, not even close. But we need to be thinking about it.
So what can we do? Are we just stuck in this confusing AI room?
Not necessarily. First step is just realizing we're in this situation, being aware of the problem.
So being smarter users, not just taking these tools at face value.
Exactly. We need to be critical. We need to ask questions, not just assume it knows what we're thinking.
Like with anything new, right? The more you understand it, the better you can use it.
And that's why transparency is so important. Edwards talked about this a lot.
You mean from the companies building these AI tools?
Exactly. They need to be upfront about the limitations, not just the cool stuff.
Because right now, it does feel like a bit of a black box, you know?
And that breeds mistrust. It holds the technology back. We need openness. We need to understand how these things work.
It's about building trust so we can actually move forward together.
Yes. Collaboration. That's the key. Humans and AI working together.
Instead of, one or the other. Well, on that note, I think that's a good place to wrap up this deep dive. The big takeaway here, AI is changing fast, and we need to keep up. We need to ask the tough questions, demand transparency, because the future of AI, it's not predetermined. It's up to us to shape it. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, stay curious.